Hey guys, so I am back with the next video to go into a little more detail about the Baby Think It Over and Real Care models using some of the information that is on my Neonates and Baby Think It Over Club website, which is what you are seeing here. I made this website way back when the group was new. I think I probably made this website in 2003, 2004 perhaps. And it's been tweaked and updated here and there, but I do know that there are some things on the website that I still need to update. So I will be sure to point out the information that is incorrect and give you the correct info now. But this is the main page of our club website, and it has lots of inspirational quotes and little comics and things on the main page. And then in the side menu, there's all kinds of stuff about the president, which is me, a message from me, info about the club, the link to join the club, our stuff, comments that people have on being members in the club over the years. Our news section doesn't really have anything there right now. Members speak out. This is where members share stories about their dolls, and you know, a lot of them have to do with outings and things like that. There are photos from different trips people have taken with their babies. There's more member experiences. Actually, I believe these are the stories. These are stories about the dolls. So the members speak out is actually what people are, basically what people want to say about the hobby and speaking out about it, and you know, just kind of trying to remove the stigma that surrounds our hobby. There's Baby Dolls Make a Difference, which is about dolls that have been used for therapy. There's articles, there's all kinds of good stuff. But we're going to the Learn About Baby Think It Over tab today. And like I said, this is an old website that I made. It's very outdated. I mean, I know it doesn't look very nice or modern. It is like the bare bones HTML stuff that I learned in high school. I'm no web designer by any means. And I've considered updating, like modernizing it. But I kind of like the nostalgia of it. So I've just left it as is, and I'll just be making some changes here and there. So here we go. Have you heard of Baby Think It Over? That's the name of the infant simulator sold by Baby Think It Over Educational Products, which are now called RealityWorks. They're used in schools so students can see what it would be like to be a parent of an infant. They need care around the clock, 24 hours a day, and it isn't as easy as it looks. The infant simulators or babies need to be fed, rocked, burped, properly held. They need to have their diapers changed, and the neonates are the electronic neonates, I should say, are much the same as infant simulators, but they are toys. They have an off switch so that you can turn them on and off as you want, whereas the babies are always on until they are returned to the teacher. So let's go in and look at the different models. So of course, as I said in my last video, I didn't realize until I saw that evolution kind of graphic on the RealityWorks website that there was even earlier models of the Baby Think It Over than what we knew of. And so on our website right now, we only have from the Generation 3 up into the Real Care 2 Plus. So that's one of the things I'll probably be updating on this website, is kind of talking about how there was ones before the Generation 3, and also now there's the Real Care 3. But the Generation 3, the description of it I believe all of the previous models before that operated the exact same way. So this was basically the original model. It has a box that comes out of its back. The main difference between the G3 and the G4 is the appearance of the baby. The G3's right hand is fully open and the faces are slightly different as well. Operation of the baby is the same as the G4. So this is the front of the G3, and there is the hand that we were talking about. This is the back of the G3 without its box in there. So the standard Baby Think It Over Generation 4, which we kind of found out again. We found out by that diagram that there was a second G4 as well that had head support. It was a G4 with head support. But this one we're talking about is the original one. So it had a box that comes out of its back. The batteries are put in the box. You select a schedule of easy, medium, or hard for the baby. The box then goes back into the baby to start the simulation. When the baby cries, you must hold a key in the baby's back. The baby will stop crying while the key is in its back. The length of time needed to hold the key in the back varies depending on how much care the baby needs. When it's done, it will cry again while the key is in. The good thing about this model is that it's easy to operate and is normally cheap on eBay. The downside of these babies is that the key can hurt your fingers to hold it in for so long. But like I mentioned in my previous video, I figured out that if you wrap up a receiving blanket to cushion it, it kind of helps. The cry is also very loud and annoying, and its back is very flat, which makes holding it uncomfortable. Also, if you don't put the key in it within 2 minutes, it's automatically counted as neglect. These models are no longer made and sold by the company, but you can sometimes find them on eBay. So this is the back, or this is the front of a G4 holding her box, or his box. I'm not sure if it's a boy or a girl. This is the back with the box out. And this is exactly what I had in high school, by the way. This is the exact same model I had in high school. This is how the back looked. And in fact, this is the same mold I had in high school as well. This is the box with the battery cover off of it. So you can see, I think it says there's 4 AA batteries in there, looks like. And then there's the instructions that were on the back. So we got the realistic head support baby generation 5 in here, which we didn't realize there actually isn't a generation 5. That's an error because when you look on that graphic I showed you in the last video, they still considered it generation 4, but with head support. It's exactly like the standard. The only difference is you have to support the baby's head, and the baby also coos when it's done with the key. The head does not turn side to side. So these first models here, the baby's head would turn side to side, but once they introduced the head support, it no longer turned side to side. Then they came out with the original Real Care Baby, which again, it had the head support, so the head wouldn't turn side to side on this one. The first Real Care Baby made was far more advanced than the original Baby Think It Over. It was more realistic. There's no box to take in and out. Just open the back, put in the batteries. It uses a controller to set up its schedule. When the baby cries, you touch a round metal ID into a circle in the baby's back and it beeps, indicating you have picked it up and are going to tend to it. And once you have done that, you must determine what the baby needs. As time goes on, you can actually tell a difference in the cries to tell what the baby wants. You will either need to change the diaper, feed the baby a bottle, rock the baby, or burp it, and sometimes the baby's just fussy and you can't do anything about it. You also need to support the baby's head because if it drops back, baby screams and cries and you need to calm the baby by rocking. The baby tells if you've put a new diaper on. because one diaper has a white square and one has a blue square. And the good thing about this baby is that it's a lot more realistic than the original model, in the fact that you have to tend to it with realistic actions. The downside to the model is that the head can't turn side to side, the back is very flat, and its cry is quite loud. Also, the Velcro on the inside of the diaper that attaches it to the baby is a pain, and it sometimes ruins the diapers a bit. These models are no longer made, but you can sometimes find them on eBay. So here is a front look at the original Real Care baby, and you can see it has a plastic kind of speaker in the middle of its chest. And this is the back, which very much resembles the back of an electronic neonate that you'll see in my next video. The electronic neonates have the same door to get to the battery compartment. This lower part is the same size on the electronic neonates, but it looks a little bit different than this, because obviously the electronic neonates, they don't actually have to have this ID. So you'll see that when I do that video. This is the inside of the battery pack, and this is the metal ID tag that fits in that circle. So then came Real Care Baby 2. So it says the Real Care Baby 2, as I said here, I said that this is the most latest model, which it is not. The latest model now is Real Care Baby 3. But Real Care Baby 2 at that time was the most latest model. So we, at that time, were saying it was by far the most advanced simulator. It does everything the Real Care 1 does, but in a better and more advanced way. For starters, the back is no longer flat. It's now contoured like a real back, which makes for more comfortable holding. But I will say, all in all, these dolls are not cuddly. They are not cuddly dolls because they're full vinyl. And it's not exactly a soft vinyl. So, and I believe that the reason for that is because A, they're meant to be used in classrooms where several people are going to be using them and taking them home, and everyone handles them differently. So they want something that's durable, for one, that's not going to fall apart. And second, they have all these electronics inside them. They basically have a computer in them. So again, they want those electronics to be protected so nothing gets broken. The ID only needs to be waved in front of the baby's chest or back, or also you could do the belly or near the back of the bum to register that you are about to tend to it. The diapers now have a yellow and green square on them. And that still applies as well with the Real Care Baby 3. In fact, all of this that I'm reading here applies to the Real Care Baby 3. The only difference is Real Care Baby 3 now detects temperature and clothing, and you can also have it detect how long it's sitting unattended in a car seat. But yeah, getting back to Real Care Baby 2, so it has a yellow and green square on the diapers. The diapers no longer have the Velcro on them, so no snagging or anything like that. The head still needs support, but it now also can move side to side, which is really nice to have, because you could pose the baby and things like that. The cry is not as loud. It starts quiet and gradually gets louder if you don't tend to it. And not only does it make the sucking sounds, cooing sounds, coughs, burps, and cries, but it now also makes breathing sounds when it's sleeping. At that time, I couldn't think of any downside to that model. The company was also now offering the Real Care 2 Plus, which is exactly the same baby as the Real Care 2, but it's rechargeable. And so here we're going to have a look at the original Real Care 2 front. So you can see that the speaker is no longer a plastic speaker that kind of sticks out from the chest. It's built right into the chest. It does look kind of funny having the holes in there, but you have to have the sound come out from somewhere. And this is the newest Japanese sculpt that they came out with when they came out with the Real Care 2 babies. They redid the Japanese mold and they gave it eyebrows for some reason. I'm not sure why. None of the other Real Care babies have eyebrows, but they decided to do that with the newest one. This is the Real Care 2's back, so you can see that it's a little bit contoured, and it has a spot for the old ID tags that were used in the original Real Care. But this one, I believe, also can use the newer ID tags that you would touch here, here, or in the same area on the front, like near the belly button, and on the chest on the front. This is the Real Care 2 Plus front, and it really is pretty much the same as the Real Care 2. And the back of the Real Care 2 Plus looks like this. So there's nowhere to put the old ID anymore. You have to use the new ID tags on this. These are 3 little lights. The red and the green indicate the battery levels and power level. And I believe the yellow was to indicate that the Wi-Fi on it is working, so that if you wanted to program using the computer and the X stick, you know that you're getting a good signal. And then this little portion right down here that my cursor is pointing to is where you would plug in the charger so that you could charge up the batteries. So the last thing that I want to show you guys too is that it says down here, note that all models have one thing in common. They all cry if placed on their tummy. This is to prevent SIDS. However, since the Real Care 2s sleep, if they are awake, meaning you don't hear any breathing sounds, they can be on their tummy. Just as real babies, when they're awake, they can have tummy time. So the last thing that I want to show you guys is this thing, the Ready or Not Tot. And this is a completely different brand of infant simulator by a completely different company. It's a pretty cute doll. I think they look kind of similar to the Bersusa dolls, if that's how you say it. They are weighted. They do seem a little heavier though than the Baby Think It Overs. Now, when these babies cry, you need to determine if it needs a bottle, diaper change, burping, or rocking. And then what you would do is you find the key with the action written on it. So it will say diaper. You insert that key, and if you have chosen the correct care, the baby will coo. And then I believe, I don't really remember exactly how it works. Like, I don't know if you have to leave the key in there or if you take it out and then the baby will coo again when the action is finished. I'm not sure. So this is the back of a Ready or Not Tot, and it's similar in that it's like the original Baby Think It Over, where you're going to put a box in there. And this is what the box looks like. And this is where you would insert the keys. And then this is the box inside the back. So it's not like the Real Care. These are the teacher's keys, so they can run a demo, a self-test. They can program it with program A, B, C, things like that. And then this is a really small image. It's the only one we could find of someone actually using the keys. But yeah, so that's the Ready or Not Tot. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we have pictures of the front, like the actual picture of the baby. But I was just on their website. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick for you guys. Okay, so I've pulled up this video that I had watched because I was curious to see if the Ready or Not Tot dolls were actually still made, and they apparently are. And the company is called NASCO International. And this is a video where this woman demonstrates all the different types of dolls that they have. So there's actually more than just the type that we currently have on our website here. So I'll link to this video in the description of my video if you guys want to check it out to see and learn more about the Ready or Not Tots, but this is kind of what they look like, the different models. They have a link to their catalog, and I had to laugh when I pulled this up because they apparently came out with this infant simulator, and I laughed when I saw this. It's like just a cloth doll with like no face or anything. And it says it is the Love to Care parenting simulator that takes the glamour and novelty out of parenting simulation, because I guess they feel like the Real Care babies by the Reality Works company glamorize parenting. Yes, I would say that, like I said, when I had the Baby Think It Over, and it wasn't even a Real Care baby, it was just the one you stuck the key in its back, I liked it and I wanted one of my own. However, I did not like being woken up in the night. And you know, I knew if I ever had one of my own, I would be shutting it off at night. And I knew I was not ready for a baby, so it did not glamorize parenting for me. It's just that I've always had that nurturing side to me. And so when I had baby fever and stuff like that, my infant simulator, my Real Care pretty much helped curb that, because I knew I was young and I didn't need to have a baby at that time. I wasn't even dating Alex at that time and stuff, or, you know, even when we were dating, it's like, well, no, we want to wait till we're married and financially ready and all that good stuff. But I just thought this was really funny. So how this one works is it's a plain muslin simulator. It cries at pre-selected intervals around the clock. Student must press this red heart on the chest to stop the crying. And to simulate a care or tending time, it cries again in 10 minutes. I don't quite understand how that works, but the student must again push the button to begin a sleeping period. It lets students experience the demands of parenting without all the fun of dressing a real-looking baby doll up, showing it off to their friends, etc. Torso has soft stuffing with enclosed control box, while head, arms, and legs are filled with plastic pellets. It's an educational tool, not a toy, intended for students over 12 years of age. It's 15 inches and requires 3 AA batteries. And I just had to laugh at that, and I was like, let me have a look at this. And I click on it and it is $50. I'm like, what? So I thought that was pretty hilarious. Yeah, and then it goes into showing the 4 versions, the basic, standard, intermediate, and enhanced, which are all demonstrated on this video that I'll link below. And, you know, like I said, there is the link to this catalog in there if you want to have a look at it. You can go through to the different pages. And so like this is a basic model. So let's say you want the Caucasian baby, you click on that. It should take you, yeah, it's $150.75. So they are a lot cheaper than the Real Care babies, but obviously the Real Care babies offer a way more realistic experience, in my opinion. But yeah. So don't forget, if you're interested in learning more about Ready or Not Tots, I'm going to link that below for you guys. And yeah, so that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed learning more about all the different infant simulators that are out there by Reality Works, and then of course Ready or Not Tot by other companies. We actually have a Ready or Not Tot right here in this picture. This was taken at our Minnesota meetup in 2007. We literally have every ethnicity of the molds that Baby Think It Over makes here. Some of these are Real Care, some of these are Baby Think It Over, some of these are neonates. We have all different types there, but they are all the ethnicities of the mold. And then, like I said, we also had the Ready or Not Tot there, because Amy, sorry, not Amy. Why am I saying Amy? I have another friend named Amy. Sorry about that, guys. Our friend Tammy had actually ordered this off of eBay and had it shipped to the hotel for when she arrived, and she was able to open it there, and everyone got to see a Ready or Not Tot in person for the first time, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, so I think that's about it. The only thing I can say is I think somewhere on the website I mentioned that the Reality Works is now selling to individuals. That is incorrect. It is out of date. They do not sell to individuals anymore. They are strict on selling to schools because a lot of people, what was happening is they were buying the dolls, taking them apart and trying to put them into Reborn dolls, selling them for outrageous prices on eBay, and then people would get them and they would work for a bit and then they would break down, and people would contact Reality Works wanting to repair it, and Reality Works would say, hey, this is not our doll anymore. It's been tampered with. It's been put into another doll. We have nothing to do with this. And they really were getting tired of these phone calls. So, you know, a couple bad apples had to ruin it for the whole bunch, basically. So they really don't sell to individuals. The only reason I was able to get mine is because I stated it was going to be used for educational purposes. I basically told them that my husband had really no experience with infants, which is true. And I thought it would be a good program for us to do together to learn and see how we're ready for parenthood. That was a year before we were married. And more recently, when I was talking about sending in my Real Care 2 Plus for repairs, and was talking about the different options I had, and she mentioned maybe just getting a Real Care 3, and we were discussing the prices and stuff, and then it came about that she thought I was from a school, and I had to tell her I wasn't. I explained to her how I acquired my Real Care 2 Plus, and then I said to her that I recently was wanting to run the program again because I have a chronic illness and was curious to see how I would manage parenthood with a chronic illness, and thought it would be a good learning tool. And so she had to go and speak with her manager and everything, and came back and they did approve me for a Real Care 3. They were saying that I could purchase one because of the reasons that I gave. However, the price was it was almost $2,000, and I just couldn't justify that. I don't have the money for that. So that's why I went the route that I went. But anyways, I just wanted to throw that out there too, because I just want to make sure that everyone has the correct information. But anyways, hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.